Hi everyone. All right, so today we are going to do the ceiling insulation. I've already gone ahead and just cut it with those big shears that I was showing you guys the other day. So these are kind of the strips, and the thin slate's actually the perfect width, like front, that they in the rolls to just go right across the top. So you just have to really do one cut, which is awesome. We're going to just like what we did for the walls. We're gonna um, glue it, or I guess use the adhesive, the 3M adhesive, 90 I guess is what it's called, and spray, and then put that up there. So that way we have some insulation on the ceiling. Also earlier I went ahead and installed sound dampening mats for the ceiling itself. When you look at the van, most of our van, most of what we have on our van aren't large pieces of metal, like large sheet metal. That's usually where you want to put the sound dampening. So most vans won't have the windows, right? So they just have a big sheet of metal here. And when you're driving, that sheet metal will move a little bit back and forth, and that creates a lot of noise. So you put this, the sound dampening, to add some mass, some weight to that sheet metal and prevent it from moving back and forth. And so we bought like a box. It was pretty cheap, of just some sound dampening. Some people go crazy and do the whole vehicle. I just didn't see. I don't think it works that way. I think it works just by the how large the sheet metal is. So we just added some right here towards the center, and you can, you can really, it makes a big difference for the large pieces of metal. Like even when you tap on it, it doesn't rattle, kind of like the same. It's much deeper. So yeah, we added that all the way down the van, and then we also added some insulation in the headboard area as well, which is right above where we sit. So yep, today we're just going to go ahead and do the rest of the ceiling insulation. Doing the ceiling will then allow us to do the walls. I thought it was UPS. Do the walls, and then once the walls are done, we can then do the actual ceiling itself. And we're gonna fix we're gonna attach everything, as much to everything else as possible. The frame to the floor, the frame to the wall, the frame to the ceiling, and make sure it's all interconnected. Um, that we're also going to try and reduce rattle by using silicone and easy cool just in between the metal and the wall itself. Same thing up here with these bolts. So like I said earlier, also we've used these bolts, the cross nuts. That's how we're actually fix everything. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. Gotta find my breather mask so I don't get any glue inside my lungs. It's very uncomfortable. There it is. 90. All right, I'm going to go grab the other pieces real quick. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer anything you might have. All right. We'll start with this piece here. No, we're not. Just want to start with this one. So I don't have any fancy. Some people have some really fancy lifts, uh, like vehicle lifts to keep it pressed in there, and I don't have that, so I'm just gonna hold it with my hand. Hope it's okay. And you also want to spray the fabric itself, especially in the corners and the sides. Alright, I don't have a ton of 3M left. I could go buy another bottle, but I'm just going to try and be conscious of what we do have. This stuff sticks pretty quick. So once I push it in here, and there we go. there's our first piece done. Perfect. So there will be another, we're going to install a 1/4 inch piece of plywood on top of this, so it'll sit like right here. So I don't have to really worry about it being like it sticking too much. So as long as it's up there, not going anywhere, it's okay. First one done. Next one. Second one done. This stuff dries, the 3M stuff dries pretty quick. So you got to kind of move with it. Cool. So we got to work around the vent here, so I cut 2 smaller sections. Do this in parts. What's great is it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little bit bigger than this space. All right. My other panel is in the garage. I'll be right back. Big one. Yep. All right. This is going to be the one that I'm going to want to use a lot. It's pretty heavy. Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful ceiling. Beautiful roof. Yay. So now, imagine plywood is going to look just like this. Is this? We'll sit. Well, sit similar to that across the entire length of the van. That is the sub ceiling. You'll see I'm doing. Some people do not do it this way. Often people will just put planks and then their decorative ceiling. I, however, think having a sub ceiling and then your decorative ceiling as two separate things makes a lot of sense. So that's how we're doing it. Insulation, sub wall, sub ceiling, sub floor, and then main floor, main walls, main ceiling. You lose, I guess, 1/4 of an inch, but what you gain is a nice smooth surface. You also gain a lot more fixation points. I can drill into any place and attach my panels to this wood at any point, which is good. I like that. And then the frame itself will sit to the sub or sub wall, sub ceiling. That way, the entire vehicle is almost like a unit, a structure, as opposed to having just your ceiling be its own structure, its walls being their own structure, the floor being its own structure, then everything on the inside being a structure. I like having it all tied together. It's more permanent that way, and maybe that's why a lot of people don't do it. I don't know, but this is the way I think makes most sense. So it's not going to be the most rigid. This panel bends quite a bit, especially when it gets bigger. It can bend a lot. But in order to counter that, we'll have our cabinets and the 80/20 aluminum bars everywhere. So, all right, well that's it for now. That was the insulation, the ceiling insulation. Now I'm going to think about what I want to do next. I think I'm going to go ahead and continue doing easy cool now and strips everywhere. I have a limited amount of that, so I can't just put it everywhere like I'd like to. So I have to really be cognizant about where I'm going to put it. Use the vapor barrier or use the air gap appropriately. It works best with an air gap as opposed to being right butted up against metal. So I might use it for the ceilings because that's where a lot of the heat is lost, is on the ceiling. So we'll see. Also, it'll also be the hottest part of the van because it's probably getting direct sunlight for most of the summer. So, all right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.